Kunja Vihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivardhari. Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivardhari. Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana. Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jayo Radha Vrindavan Chandra, Radha Vrindavan Chandra, Shri Radhe. Jaya Gopal Nath Ji, Jayo Shri Nath Ji, Jaya Gopal Nath Ji, Jayo Shri Nath Ji. Shri Narsingha, Jai Narsingha, Jaya Narasingha. Shri Narsingha, Jai Narsingha, Jaya Narasingha. Praladesha Jaya Mukha Mukha Padma Bringa. Praladesha Jaya Mukha Padma Bringa. Jai Jagannath, जय जगन्नाथ जय बलदेव जय सुभद्रा। जय गौरानिताय 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 जय गौरानिताय। जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्री श्रीमद His Divine Grace अभय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की। ब्रह्म मध्व गौड़ीय संप्रदाय आचार्य गुरुवर की। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की। गौर प्रेमानंदे। हरि हरि बोल। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जय उदीरयेत्। शृण्वन्ता स्वकथा कृष्णा पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तनं हृदयन्तस्तभद्राणि विदुनोति सुहृत्सतां। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवती नैष्टिकी। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। So today we will be serving Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam from Canto 3, chapter number 8, and today's verses that I have been given is 24 and 25. I think 24 is displayed on the board, but we will also take one more verse, number 25 as well. So kindly repeat after me. The verse number 24 is displayed on this blackboard. प्रेक्षं क्षिपन्तं हरितो पालद्रेह सन्ध्याद्रनिवेरुरुक्म मूर्धनः रत्नो अधाधारासो साधिसो मनस्य वनसृजो वेणुभुजाङ्घ्रि पानगृह प्रेक्षं क्षिपन्तं हरितोपालाद्रेह सन्ध्याद्रनिवेरुरुक्ममूर्धनः रत्नो ददार उषधि सौमनस्य वनसृजो वेणुभुजाङ्घ्रि पङ्ग्रेह। प्रेक्षं क्षिपन्तं हरितोपलाद्रेह सन्ध्याद्रनिवेर उरुरुक्म मूर्धनः। Ratno Adhara Aushadhi Saumanasya. Vanasrijo Venu Bhujangri Pangrigriha. Anybody else would like to try? Otherwise, Mataji. Preksham Shipantam Harito Paladrehe. Sandhyadranevir Ururukma Murdanaha. Ratno Dadaro Sadisau Manasya. Vana Srijo Venu Bhujangri Pangrehe. Kindly repeat word to word meaning. Preksham, the panorama. Shipantam, deriding. Harita, green. Upala, coral. Adreha, of the hell. Sandhya, Abra, Niveha, of the dress, of the evening sky. Uru, great. Rukma, gold. Murdhanaha, on the summit. Ratna, jewels. Udadhara, waterfalls. Aushadhi, herbs. Saumanasya, of the scenery. Vanasrijaha, flower garland. Venu, dress. Bhuja, hands. Angripa, trees. Angreha, legs. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada Ji ki Jai. The luster of the transcendental body of the Lord mocked the beauty of the coral mountain. The coral mountain is very beautifully dressed by the evening sky, but the yellow dress of the Lord mocked its beauty. There is gold on the summit of the mountain, but the Lord's helmet, bedecked with jewels, mocked it. The mountains, waterfalls, herbs, etc., with a panorama of flowers, seemed like garlands, but the Lord's gigantic body and His hands and legs, decorated with jewels, pearls and tusi leaves and flower garlands, mocked the scene of the mountain. Purport. The panoramic beauty of nature, which strikes one with wonder, may be taken as a perverted reflection of the transcendental body of the Lord. One who is therefore attracted by the beauty of the Lord is no longer attracted by the beauty of material nature, although he does not minimize its beauty. In Bhagavad Gita 2, chapter 2, verse number 59, it is described that one who is attracted by Param, the Supreme, is no longer attracted by anything inferior. The next verse, number 25, I will simply read the translation and the short purport. His transcendental body, unlimited in length and breadth, occupied the three planetary systems, upper, middle, and lower. His body was self-illuminated by unparalleled dress and variegatedness and was properly ornamented. The length and breadth of the transcendental body of the Supreme Personality of Godhead could only be measured by His own measurement, because He is the all-pervading, through the complete cosmic manifestation. The beauty of material nature is due to His personal beauty, yet He is always magnificently dressed and ornamented to prove His transcendental variegatedness, which is so important in the advancement of spiritual knowledge. ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाखया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरोन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यादेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। आजानुलंबित भुजो कनकाय धातो संकीर्तन पितरो कमलायताक्षो विश्वम्भरो द्विजवरो युगधर्मपालो वंदे जगत प्रिय करो करुणावतारो। नवनीरद निंदित कांतिधरम रससागर नागर भूपवरम शुभवम किमचारु शिखंड सिकिम भज कृष्ण निधिम व्रजराज सुतम। राधिका सरोदेन्दु निंदि मुख मंडली वंदिये श्रीपाद पद्म वृषभानुनंदिनी, वंदिये श्रीपाद पद्म वृषभानुनंदिनी, वंदिये श्रीपाद पद्म वृषभानुनंदिनी। So it is in chronological order we are studying Srimad Bhagavatam every day, and we are in the third canto. How many cantos does Srimad Bhagavatam have? 12. 12 skandhas. Just like Ramayana has how many? How many does Ramayana have? 7. Right? 7 kands. Saptakand. So, in the third canto, which is known as the status quo, it actually, in this 8th chapter, it is describing the manifestation of how Lord Brahma appeared, the appearance of Lord Brahma. And this Maitreya Muni is describing this wonderful pastime or leela to Vidurji. And it is said that Vidurji appeared in the dynasty of King Puru. King Puru was a very great, very pious, very pure devotee, and many of the kings or many of them who came in King Puru's dynasty, they were all wonderful, pure devotees. So, one time, the 4 Kumaras, headed by the chief Kumar, Sanat Kumar, he heard from Sankhya Muni, Srimad Bhagavatam. So this Srimad Bhagavatam is eternal. Not that it was just spoken 5,000 years ago, but it is Nitya or eternal. Many great speakers have spoken Srimad Bhagavatam. It is said, who is the first speaker of Srimad Bhagavatam? Anybody knows? Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva was the first one. In some millennium, in some Satya Yuga, he had spoken it to Parvati Devi. And like that, many great devotees like Sankhya Muni, he spoke Srimad Bhagavatam, and he heard it from Parashar, and Parashar and Brihaspati Muni, they heard, and Pulatsa Muni also, he heard from the proper disciplic succession, and then it came down to Maitreya Muni. And Maitreya Muni, acting as a guru, he is dissipating the queries of Vidurji. Who is Vidur? Vidur is the one of the, he is the brother of Dhritarashtra, right, in Mahabharata, Vidur, and he is the uncle of Duryodhan, and also he is the uncle of the Pandavas. But he was a wonderful devotee of the Lord. And whenever there is a wonderful devotee of the Lord, it always is very, very enthusiastic to hear about the Lord. That is the symptom of pure devotees or good devotees, that they want to continuously hear about the Supreme Lord. That is one of the greatest qualities they have. And then, after hearing, they preach. First there is Shravanam, then there is Kirtanam. Even if we see in our practical experience, the little children in our home, when they are born, after a few months, they keep hearing from the parents and the grandparents and the family members, say Papa, say Mama, and like that, through hearing, they are able to speak. So similarly, this process of hearing is very important. If we want our life to be successful, our existence to be successful, then we should hear the glories of the Supreme Lord. It's very important. Srimad Bhagavatam in the 10th canto, the gopis say, Tava kathamritam, tapta jivanam, kavibiriditam, kalmashapaham, shravana mangalam, Srimad-atatam, bhuvi grinanti, je bhurida jana. The narrations of your Leela, your pastimes, O Krishna, O Supreme Lord, they are like Amrit. Amrit means what? Death. And Amrit means opposite. It brings deathlessness. So your pastimes, the narrations of your pastimes, whosoever hears it, will bring them eternal life. Tava katha amritam, tapta jivanam. And this life here in this material world is full of miseries. We see that all the time. Cough, cold, flu, COVID, so many things are coming and going. So many people we lost, some of our own family members, some friends. So there is no such thing as happiness, real happiness in this material world. So this material world is full of tapta. Tapta means boiling. We are always boiling in anxiety, fear of always something, fear of losing the job, fear of not making enough money, fear of falling sick, fear of dying. So all these fears are tapta jivanam. And it is the opinion of these great sages, Kavi Viriditam, the great Vaishnavas, Kalmashapaham. When we hear the narrations of the pastimes of Krishna, it will take away Kalmashapaham. Kalmash means miseries, Apahanam means it will steal, it will eradicate our miseries. Kavi Viriditam, Kalmashapaham, Shravana Mangalam, Srimad-atatam. Shravana, when we hear, it brings us auspiciousness, Mangalam. And Srimad-atatam. Srimad has more than one meaning. Srimad means, Shri means Lakshmi Devi. Mad means one can get the fortune, like great wealth. But Srimad for the devotees means Srimati Radharani. And Mad means one who gets the intellect how to serve Radharani, how to serve Radha Krishna. So by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, we obtain that highest wealth, more than the wealth that one can, excuse me, can see in coins, in gold, in rupees, in dollars. The highest wealth is Krishna Bhakti. So that is Srimad-atatam, and Bhuvi Grinanti Je Bhurida Jana. And The great sages or the pure souls, they go all over the world preaching this message because they are the highest benefactor of mankind, the highest dani, highest donors. Some people can give a lot of money if they are very rich to the poor, maybe millions of dollars for some foundation, for building school, colleges, hospitals, giving in charity. But how long does that last? Because this body is temporary. You feed a poor man today, is he not going to be hungry tomorrow? Is he not going to be sick tomorrow? Is he not going to die? So those who are able to solve these problems of janma, mrityu, jara, vyadhi, birth, death, old age and disease permanently, they are the highest benefactors of mankind. They are the highest charitable personalities who can take us out of this miserable condition. So like that, Maitreya Muni is instructing Vidurji on Srimad Bhagavatam, and in this particular chapter it is about how the three worlds, meaning the entire Brahmand. What are the three worlds? Everybody has heard the word Tribhuvan. Have you heard that or not? Yes, what is Tribhuvan or the three worlds? Earthly planet, which is in the middle, 6 heavenly planets, which are on the top, and 7 hellish planets. So, earth, heaven, and hell, that is called Tribhuvan. Total 14. 6 heavenly, 1 earth, and 7 hellish. 14. It is also known as Chauda Bhuvan. If you all have heard, most of you all, I see that some of you are from the Sanatan Dharma background. So you heard this word Chauda Bhuvan or Triloka, right? So the entire, during the time when Lord Krishna, he is in Golok Vrindavan, the original abode, he simultaneously expands. On his right side, he expands as Lord Balram. On the left, he expands himself as Lord, as Srimati Radharani. And from that Balram, that Lord Balram is responsible for all the spiritual and material creations. That Balram expands himself into Vasudev, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, Sankarshan. The first quadruple expansion. Then, from the Sankarshan of the first quadruple expansion, again another set of Vasudev, Pradyumna, Aniruddha and Sankarshan happens. The second Chaturvyu or the second quadruple expansion. And from that Sankarshan of the second quadruple expansion, many avatars happen. Different types of avatars like Lord Narayana, Guna avatars, Leela avatars, etc. The Dasa avatars. But also 3 Vishnus appear from that Sankarshan. The first Vishnu is known as Karana Udaka Shayi Vishnu. Karan means causal. Udaka Shayi means one who is reclining in the causal ocean. So this Vishnu, he is reclining in the causal ocean, and by his mercy, millions and millions of Brahmans originate from the pores of his body, just by his exhalation. So, those of you who are familiar with the basics of yoga, there is Lom and Vilom, right? You breathe in and you breathe out. So when Mahavishnu breathes in, actually all the Brahmans in the material world are completely destroyed just by half a breath. And when he breathes out, all are recreated. And they appear from the pores of his body There are millions and millions of pores. We even have them. And then these Brahmas. And then what he does, Karanodakshai Vishnu expands further into Garbhodakshai Vishnu, which this chapter talks about. And he goes in the bottom of each Brahmand, and each one Brahmand is equal to Chaudha Bhuvan, or the 14 planetary systems: Earth, 6 heavenly, and 7 hellish. So there are like that, there are millions of Brahmands that consist of these 14 planetary systems. And these 14 planetary systems are created by his expansion Garbhodakshai Vishnu. Garbhodakshai Vishnu reclines in the bottom of that empty Brahman. There is nothing at that time. Just like when sometimes we buy a piece of vacant land. What is there on it? Nothing, right? You have to actually bring the materials, bring the contractor, architect, and build on that land. So similarly, all the Brahmans were completely vacant. And at that time, Garbhodakshai Vishnu, the expansion of the first Vishnu or Mahavishnu, he reclines in the bottom of each Brahman through his own transcendental sweat. That may sound a little not so palatable for us, but everything about the Supreme Lord is divya. Nothing is contaminated. So we have to understand this. We cannot apply our logic based on our material experience, but it is 100% transcendental. Everything about Krishna or Krishna's avatars, they are 100% pure. So he fills the bottom, 25% of that with the water, that is his perspiration, and he reclines on the Anantasesh bed, and then from his body, now it's time for recreation. So all the jivas that have been in the previous millennium or the birth, they were there, they are actually resting in this Vishnu's body. That is why one of the names of Vishnu is also known as Narayan. What does Narayan mean? Nara means living entities or souls, and Ayan means one who takes shelter. So the shelter of all the living entities is Lord Narayana. Some of you are from Nepal here. How many of you? 1, 2, 3. I have been to Nepal many years ago, and I saw the temple of Vishnu reclining in Buddha Nilkant. How many have taken darshan of that? Very beautiful. That is the description, that is almost like what is given in this Bhagavatam about what the Lord looks like. It is, he is sleeping on the serpent bed, Vishnu. So, what happens is when Mahavishnu, this gets a little complicated, but just try to grasp as much as you can. What did I say? The first Vishnu or Mahavishnu, when he breathes in, all the material worlds are destroyed, all the Brahmans are destroyed. So what happens to the persons or the jivas who are there? So for example, just try to understand this. Supposing if everything gets destroyed right now, this very second, complete destruction of the material world, complete, finished, what will happen to us? So what will happen is, we are the jiva, the body will be finished along with the dissolution, but the jiva never dies. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna has clearly said that. Our Vedic Shastras explain that as far as the soul is concerned, na jayate mriyate va kadachin nayam bhutva bhavita vana bhuyo ajo nitya sashvato ayam purano na hanyate hanyamane sharire. It is not born, the jiva or the soul. Na jayate mriyate, it never dies. Va kadachin, never. Na ayam bhutva bhavita vana bhuya. Not in the past, not present, or in the future. It will ever cease to exist. Ajo, it is unborn. It is not that the soul is born. Nitya, it is eternal. Ayam Purana, it is the oldest. Na hanyate hanyamane shadire. When the body is finished, the soul is not finished. So all the souls are transported into the stomach of Vishnu. And they remain dormant. They remain dormant. Like one may think, how is it possible? This sounds like a fairy tale. But any of you here is a doctor or in the medical field? Anybody? You are. So, Prabhuji, how many bacteria do we have in our body? In our stomach? Not possible to count. Million. And that bacteria are also jiva. So just within one human body or one animal, even it can be a cat or dog, there are millions and billions of jivas inside that body. So what to talk about Lord Vishnu, who is the Supreme Lord. If a small personality like us, or a dog or a cat, has millions and billions of bacteria, and bacteria is a living entity, right? That is why when we are very sick, we have to take antibiotics to kill that bacteria because it is causing a problem in our balance. So those are living entities, and a living entity means it has obtained a body of a germ or a little worm, but actually it is the soul based on the karma. So what happens? All the souls are transported into Vishnu's body. They stay dormant. And when Bhagavata.ca Vishnu, out of the mode of passion, when the Brahmand has just started creating, the cumulative karma, it is explained in this chapter, of all the living entities, Bhagavata.ca Vishnu transforms that into a lotus bud. And that lotus bud sprouts from his navel. That lotus bud sprouts from its navel. And now, he still has all the living entities in his body. All of them from the previous destruction. So, what happens? So they are waiting to be released again based on their past karma. Not that they are liberated. Please try to understand. I will give you another simple example. Supposing we find in many cities the jail becomes very old because it has been built maybe 50 years, 60 years, 80 years ago, and it becomes so old that the walls are starting to crumble. So what does the government decide? Okay, now we have to build a new jail, right? So in the same spot. So what will the government do? Will they tell all the prisoners, okay, it will take us 1 year to build, you come back in 1 year? No. They will put them in another holding cell in another jail. And when the new jail is ready, they are transported back. So this material world is like a jail. It is called Karagra. It's called Durga. Durga is a fort, and you cannot escape so easily. This is what is given in the Shastra. We have to have firm faith when we hear about it. So, this lotus bud, which is the cumulative karma of all the living entities, takes the shape of this lotus bud and it sprouts from the abdomen of Mahavishnu. And on that, when it sprouts and grows into a big lotus, at that time, the very first being, Lord Brahma, is created. This Lord Brahma, he doesn't know what is happening. It's complete darkness. And he tries to find the bottom of the lotus. meaning the lotus stem. And he first goes all the way to the top. And then he doesn't find anything. It's completely dark. And then the time factor is injected by Garbhodakshai Vishnu. The moment time factor is injected in the material world, that means time is another form of death. Every moment we are dying, Srila Prabhupada said. Right? Every moment. Supposing if somebody is 21 on their birthday, 22nd, so that means 1 year less in their life. Right or wrong? So Kal or time is the devouring factor in the material world. And when that is injected, at that time Lord Brahma, the first created being, fear is instilled in him. Because time instills fear. See, we all know that, especially as we are getting older. There's a lot of fear. What will happen? Now I cannot climb the stairs nicely. My knees are hurting, my back is hurting. What will happen? Some of the old people, when they don't have anybody, not even their own children, or they're put in the nursing home, sometimes good care is taken, sometimes they're not taken care of. There is this fear. They say that, no, I don't want to go to the nursing home. I would rather die at home. Right? Have you all heard that or not? So, that fear is instilled, and Lord Brahma, out of fear, starts trying to find the location. Where is he? He goes all the way to the bottom, but he cannot tell what it is. And then again he comes up, and then a sound vibration comes. Tapa, tapa, tapa. Tapa. Tapa means meditate. So this sound vibration, Akashvani, said tapa. So he sat in meditation for hundreds and thousands of years. And at that time, he was given enlightenment by Sri Krishna himself. There is a book called the Brahma Samhita. Maybe it's behind me on the bookshelf. There's a nice book this size. Try to take it with you if you can. It's a very, very wonderful, it's chapter number 5 of Brahma Samhita. Brahma Samhita means collection of prayers. So, Lord Brahma got enlightenment through the sound vibration. Again, through Shravanam. Did we not say that in the beginning? First there is Shravanam and then there is Kirtanam. So he heard the sound vibration of Krishna's flute, through which he was initiated into the Kam Gayatri mantra. And he got enlightenment, spiritual as well as he got the material knowledge of how to create the 14 planetary systems, the 6 heavenly planets, the 1 earthly planet, and the 7 hellish planets. So remember, there was nothing. He was the only first being, and he got the enlightenment from Krishna. Krishna, through his flute, sound vibration, that sound vibration enters into Lord Brahma's heart. Srimad Bhagavatam also says the same thing in the first verse. Om Janmadi Yasya Yatavanvayat Itaratascha Artheshva Bhigyaswarat Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kavaye. So that spiritual knowledge was given to Lord Brahma in his heart, within his heart. And after that, he was able to see the Supreme Lord as it is mentioned here in these verses, where he said, the luster of the transcendental body of Lord mocked the beauty of the coral mountain. Krishna is so beautiful, or the Lord is so beautiful, that it puts to shame the beauty of many, many material items. And this coral mountain that Lord Brahma was seeing was beautifully dressed by the evening sky. So this is poetry. Because of the evening sky being reddish, it even enhanced the coral mountains' reddish color. Right? But the yellow dress of the Lord mocked its beauty. What is the yellow dress of Lord Vishnu, Narayana or Krishna called? Anybody? There's a particular name. Yes? It's called Pitambar. Have you heard now the word Pitambar? Pitambar is the golden silken dhoti of Krishna or Narayana. It's very, very exclusive. So the beauty is compared to that it puts to shame the beautiful coral mountain that has been shining the sun rays of the evening. It even puts to shame the Pitambar of the Supreme Lord Krishna or Vishnu. And the different ornaments on the Lord put to shame the different waterfalls and the flowers in the different forests that surrounded that mountain. So like this, Krishna's beauty is something that is so amazing that it turned around even Sukadeva Goswami when he ran away from home even before getting purified. Vyasdev said, please stop. He says, no, I'm not. And when he went into the forest, he heard some boys reciting some wonderful verses. And one of the verses was, Baraha pidam natavara vapu karanyo karanikaram bibrad visaka nakaka pisam vaijanchamalam randaran venur adar sudha purayam gopa vrindair vrindaranyam swa padaramanam pravisad gita kirtiha. Sukadeva Goswami heard this verse and he was stunned. What is the meaning of this verse? Wearing a peacock feather, ornament upon the head, blue karanika flowers on his ears, a yellow garment, which is pitambar, as brilliant as gold, and the Vaijayanti garland. Lord Krishna exhibited his transcendental form as the greatest of dancers. And he entered the forest of Vrindaban, beautifying it with the marks of his footprints. He filled the holes of his flute with the nectar of his lips, and the cowherd boys sang his glories. So like this we find there are so many wonderful descriptions of the beauty of Krishna. Venur Kwanantam Arvindam Dalayataksham Bharavatam Samasitam Buddha Sundaragam Kandarpa Koti Kamaniya Visesha Shobham Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Venur Kwanantam Arvinda Dalayataksham. He's holding a beautiful flute and his eyes are like that of a lotus petals. Bharavatam Samasitam Buddha Sundarangam. His forehead is bedecked with a peacock flower. Kandarpa Koti Kamaniya Visesha Shobham. He is more beautiful, millions of times beautiful than millions of cupids. Bharavatam Samasita Buddha Sundar Kandarpa Koti Kamaniya Visesha, so even more beautiful than the beauty of millions of Kamdev or cupids personified. That is the beauty. And one who is struck with the beauty of Krishna will never ever go back to any kind of mundane beauty or appreciate mundane beauty. Like Prabhupada quotes in this purport in Bhagavad Gita 259. What is that verse of 259? Rasovarjam rasopyasya param drishtra nivartate. One who has obtained a higher taste gives up all different varieties of lower taste. Right? Somebody who has obtained a higher nectar, then they are not interested in some common juice because of the intoxication of that higher nectar. So similarly, the beauty of the Supreme Lord is so amazing. It is described by Sanatana Goswami in the Nandanandana Ashtakam about the beauty of Krishna, how his teeth are like pomegranates and his toenails are so beautiful that put to shame millions of moons put together their beauty. Like that, Sri Vallabhacharya has wonderfully described Krishna's beauty in the Madhurastakam. Adaram madhuram, vadanam madhuram, hasitam madhuram, brahmitam madhuram, madhuradipater, akhilam madhuram, madhuradipater, akhilam madhuram, adaram madhuram, vadanam madhuram, vadanam madhuram, vadanam madhuram, adaram madhuram. Adar means the lips. The lips of Krishna are very sweet. It is as if a lover, when they fall in love with somebody, it is the beauty of the face that attracts that person, and especially the lips. This is very rasic in nature. Sri Vallabhacharya has Adaram Madhuram, Vadanam Madhuram. His whole body is beautiful. His speech is beautiful. Nayanam Madhuram. His eyes are beautiful. Hasitam Madhuram. His smile is Madhuram. There is a particular name for the smile of Krishna. Does anybody know? How does Krishna smile? Look at Radha Vrindavan Chandra. How Vrindavan Chandra has a slight smile. Right? A very slight smile. It is known as Smita. A lot of women in the Vedic culture, their name is Smita. Right? Smita means a very, very slight but a very, very enchanting smile. So Krishna's smile is very enchanting. He doesn't really broaden his cheeks or anything like that, but just this little smile. It could be very naughty, it could be very appreciative, it could be very cunning. It's all there in Smita. And it's all sweet. Hridayam madhuram, gamanam madhuram, hridayam madhuram. His heart is very, very sweet. That is why everybody is enchanted by Krishna. Not only that, he himself is enchanted by his beauty. One can ask how. That is the reason why he took birth as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. One time Krishna was looking at himself in a reflection and he was enchanted by his own beauty. He was just mesmerized. Who is this? Who is this beautiful person? And he kept on staring and staring and looking and looking and looking. His own beauty. And because his beauty is so amazing, the gopis and Radharani, they are so enchanted and they get a very special sweetness and happiness. So Krishna is thinking, I would like to obtain that as well. And that is the reasons why, internal reason why he came as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, is to taste his own sweetness. To taste his sweetness from the perspective of Radharani and to glorify Radharani's prema. The pinnacle or the zenith of prema. And that is the reason why he came as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. To taste his own sweetness. So Lord Brahma, naturally, in this verse is described that how enchanted he was, describing all the different beautiful surroundings that are there in nature. But they were all diluted by the beauty of Krishna. Generally, before starting my class, I sing one, or I recite one verse. Navanira the nindita kanti dharam rasasagara nagara bhupavaram Shubhavanki macharu sikhanda sikim bhaja Krishna nidim vrajaraja satam. In the 8 verses, but this is the first verse where it describes Krishna's beauty. Nava nirada nindita kanti dharam. Krishna's beauty puts to shame the beauty of a freshly formed new cloud. That is the color of Sri Krishna, that even surpasses the color of the beauty of the freshly formed new cloud. Nava nirada nindita. Ninda means to put to shame. The most exquisite beauty of a freshly formed cloud is put to shame when compared to Sri Krishna's beauty, Krishna's complexion. Rasasagara Nagara Bhupavaram. He is the ocean of rasa, mellows. And he is always worshipped by the different devotees. So, that is the beauty of Krishna. And one who is enchanted attracts the beauty, everything else becomes. What does Yamunacharya say? Prabhupada quotes Yamunacharya quite often, that the moment I think about sex, I immediately want to spit. I immediately want to spit just at the thought. Because all the pleasures of this material world, generally speaking, that pleasure, the highest pleasure is found in sex life. The impetus is sex. Everything that we see, people are working hard to impress their spouses or their girlfriends or vice versa, to attract the opposite sex. The more money, the more attention, the more material things they can buy, and that will attract people, because that's what attracts people until and unless they have actually tasted the nectar of Krishna's beauty. Then everything else it goes in backstage, on the back burner. But it's our misfortune that we are not able to appreciate the beauty of Krishna because of our so many misgivings and anarthas. And that is the reason why our acharyas, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, painstakingly came. Srila Prabhupada came and gave us the holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So that we can come to this platform of transcendence where we can appreciate the beauty of Krishna, Sri Krishna, reality the beautiful. Srila Prabhupada's god brother, Sridhar Swami, had written a wonderful book, and that is the name, the title, Sri Krishna, Reality the Beautiful. So beautiful. So, I think I will stop here now. If there's any questions or comments, please feel free to, or any corrections. Yes. Can you grab that microphone, because otherwise... No, it has to go into because there are listeners online. So just give 1 second, Prabhu. Loudly, please, Prabhuji. Jai Shri Prabhupada. Yes.
And then Brahmaji got, Lord Brahma got knowledge directly from Krishna.
Yes. Yes, and that too, that Krishna from Golok Vrindavan. Yes.
Is there a specific or any reasoning for this? Because there are 2 layers of other expansions, but Krishna is directly giving Brahma, not from Mara.
Well, that is the beauty. Like Arjun got direct instructions from Krishna. So now, how can we question? Krishna is completely independent. If he desires, he can give you or me or her or all of us direct instruction. And actually speaking, it is not different. What we are getting right now is direct instruction of Krishna through the proper parampara. So somewhere it has to start. So Krishna is the first guru in our acharyas, in our line. Then Lord Brahma. Then Brahma gave this to Naradji, Naradji to Vyasadeva. And it came down in disciplic succession to Madhavendra Puri ji, Ishwar Puri, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the six Goswamis, right? Narottam Das Thakur, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Baldev Vidyabhushan, Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj, Bhakti Vinod Thakur ji, Gaur Kishore Babaji Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada, and A.C. Bhakti Swami Srila Prabhupada, 32nd. And 33rd in line is us. If we speak everything as it is, and if we hear everything as it is. So, that's why Krishnam Vande Jagat Guru. He is the Adi Guru, the first Guru. Make sense? Yeah. Hare Krishna. Yeah. Hare Krishna. Thank you all very much. All glories to His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada, Grantaraj, Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai. Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bol. Jai Gurudev, Jai Srila Prabhupada.